When someone passes, where do they go? Gone forever? Or can they show? What if you could find someone between to bridge the gap of those
I'm
unseen?
Michele Livingston, and I've been a spiritual medium for the last 30 years, appearing on Fox News, New York.
Hello, everybody. I'm Greg Jarrett. Welcome back to Breaking News. To be a really interesting guest for the hour, Michele Livingston is a visionary counselor.
On stage with medium James Von Prague.
Did anybody smoke, Richard?
Yes.
I smell tremendous smoke even up here. Was that your father that smoked?
My father and my mom.
On ABC
There's
News.
air, oxygen everywhere. You can't see it, but it's here. Same thing with the spirit realms. So even though it's in a beautiful invisible realm, I have the capacity to tap into it and actually see them. He says, thanks for the balloons. I have no idea what that means. God. Do you have your mother's ashes with you?
My brother and I had necklaces made with her ashes in them, and I just took it off the chain tonight and put it in my pocket because I was curious if it would come up, and it did.
From the east in Harrisburg, PA, to the west in Hollywood, CA, I'm the People's Medium.
It's Michele Livingston.
Oh, wow. Hi, Mr. Tony Sweet.
How are you, Miss Pink Lady over there?
Well, you know, my husband got up early this morning. This is actually our redbud tree in the backyard. And he wanted to surprise me, and he took a picture of it. So I'd have a nice background tonight.
It's beautiful.
He's from Tennessee. His mother is from Tennessee, and this was her favorite tree, the redbud tree.
Wow.
So
gorgeous. We
we planted this in her honor, and she's helping it grow, getting bigger and bigger. I love that color pink. And I want to say to those that are listening and viewing today, tonight, wherever you're from, that the audio last 2 weeks ago was not Tony's fault. I had a mic on, and it fell down between my cleavage. And it was bouncing all around. So I was going in and out, and people were saying, the audio. Well, it was actually my cleavage that was the difference. So now I'm fully hooked up here, and I hope everyone can hear me clearly. This show I've done before. This is my third year. I take a hiatus in the summer. This is my third year on UBN. And this was done the first year, second year. But I asked people, I think it was the last show, what they wanted to hear about. And I had a lot of different answers. But most people said, I saw a certain bird. Is that a sign from heaven? You know, I found something. Is that a sign from heaven? So I thought I would go through the signs from your loved ones that are up there in that next world, but are actually with us, because the soul's energy, and as we know, you can never destroy energy. So heaven is nothing more than a higher and faster frequency. Just like if you're sitting at home now or whatever, radio frequencies are around you, radio waves, you need a conduit to plug in and tune in to see and to hear. So I'm the conduit for their realm. And when I say their realm, these are, of course, human souls. And energy can never be destroyed. It just takes different forms. So we're going to talk about some of the ways. And I'm going to tell you some stories that I've never shared before. So I do a lot of seminars, and I do a lot of programs. And I want to just express how I have felt, actually, and what I have experienced for many years. The first sign from heaven is clairsentience, I'm going to say. And these are French words. C-L-A-I-R is a French word that means clear. So clairsentience, some people pronounce it, or clairsentience, means feeling. And I remember my dad passed when I was 13. He had brain cancer, and I was his only child. He was a confirmed bachelor, and met my mother, and she was in her late 40s, and had a fibroid tumor. And they said, go on your honeymoon, enjoy yourself. You can't get pregnant. Well, I slipped through the cracks. I can say that for you. They got back, and she was pregnant with me, and so I was really daddy's. I was daddy's girl. When you have a child, I guess when you're 50 years old and a man, and you have a little girl, you're a daddy's girl. So I was devastated when my papa passed. I call my papa, and he passed in February. And I had just gone into puberty. I just turned 13. And we always had dinner together, of course, in our little dining room area. And about a week after he passed away, even though it was February, all the windows were closed, no air conditioning was on. And I'm going to say something. It was an icy, cold, chilly breeze that blew right through the dining room. And it was so cold that my mother and I had goosebumps on our arms. And even the curtains were moving and shaking. And she just calmly looked at me and she says, "That's your daddy. He's passing through, saying goodbye for the last time." So if you feel a stroke on your cheek, if you feel a touch on your hand or your arm, or at night, if someone kind of sits beside you, maybe while you're in bed, remember it could be a spirit. They can reach out to us from their world, and they can make many different things happen. A lot of people feel warmth if they get a warm and fuzzy feeling, like thinking of their grandma and how she cooked, holiday dinner. They feel warm, but other people will actually get chill. They'll feel cold and they'll get chills on their arm. So did that ever happen to you, Tony, where you got chills from something?
Yeah, I mean, I've just the other day, I just got this chill that went all the way down through my body and my hair stood up, but I didn't know exactly. I was looking around for smelling to see if something recognized something, but I didn't. But I thought that's weird. No reason. I just got a big chill through my body and hair stood up and. Yeah. So somebody came to visit.
Well, yeah, and you don't know if that's your mama. I would assume she'd call you on your cell phone, or make that ring if it would be your mama, because I'm pretty sure you talk to her a lot. I have a feeling that was a male spirit. So whoever's your grandpa, whoever's in the spirit realms, I have a feeling it was a male, Tony. Just popping in to say it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Well, thank you guys, or man, or grandpa, or whoever it was. Thank you.
Well, your dad's still on Earth, right?
Yeah, Daddy's still here, but everybody else is gone. Uncles, grandpas.
Go ahead.
No, uncles and grandpas, and all of them are gone. So
I have a feeling it's maybe your dad's dad. And I always say to people, you don't have to know them, and I jokingly say you don't have to like them.
Oh, I loved my grandpa Sweet. I'll tell you that.
I've had in-laws come through where the person says, "I don't want to hear from my mother-in-law. Get her out of here." But sometimes they want to ask for forgiveness if they didn't treat you right, and sometimes they come in with a peace flag. But anyhow, that's called clairsentience, and some empathic people really feel energy. That's what they do. Another way is clairaudience, and that means clear hearing. You can hear a voice call your name, and if it's a voice that you recognize, like your dad or your mother or whoever, it's them. If it's an androgynous voice or kind of a sexless voice, it would be an angel. Angels are androgynous, and the voice is kind of unclear. But just let's say you're driving along and your dad passed a few months prior, and you hear his voice, either inside your head or out there, telling you to slow down. And you go around the turn, and there's been a major accident there. Well, that's him, communicating with you audibly. And some people don't hear things like that. Another way, though, they can say hello is a favorite song. If they had a favorite song and you're driving along and hear it on the radio over and over, it's them. My mother had a piano piece that she loved. It was called Claire de Lune. And it was popular. Well, I don't know I think it was composed in the 1800s by Debussy. But I did a little music room in her honor. And she loved purple. She loved pink. So not the whole room, but there was purple and pink in there. And I had collected music boxes that played Claire de Lune. And she had passed away, of course. And about 2 or 3 months later, I woke up and the music boxes were playing in her room. And some of them you actually had to wind. So in the mall, I'd hear it. Wherever do you hear Claire de Lune? In the dentist office, it would be playing. And that went on for a good solid week. And then it stopped. They're usually really around us after they pass, because people will write or they'll call and they'll say to me, I really felt my mother, like for the first 6 months or 8 months. And then now I don't get as many signs. Well, right after we pass, the soul goes to heaven, but we're still kind of not bound, but we're kind of bonded with those that we love down here. And we want to come down and see what's going on, how things are doing, how the people we love are doing. So they kind of come and go more a few months after they pass. And as we've talked about in other shows, there are things to do in heaven. So as time goes on, they get involved with their soul group. They can train to be spirit guides or helpers of those on earth. They can become heroes if, someone was in an accident or they themselves were in an accident and passed that way. They'll band with other souls in heaven to come down and help that soul that's about to have an accident to get to the light. And there's heavenly nurseries when babies pass between birth, whether it's a sudden infant death syndrome, whether it's a 2 or 3 or 4 year old. Some people want to be in the heavenly nursery and they rock the babies. The babies are older souls, of course. But when we first come over, we're a little bit disoriented. So there are heavenly volunteers that come down and get us up there. I'm taking a drink of water, everybody. I have allergies. Wow. Anyhow, there was another story I never told anybody. When I was first married, I started to get into this work and I was doing a lot of traveling. And my husband had the mics and the equipment and everything, but he was with a company and they would send him to Asia a lot because he was a purchaser. And so I had a lecture at a very large bookstore, and a friend of mine said, look, I'll be more than happy to drive you there. I mean, here we go. And hubby's in Asia. So I had a little bit of trepidation, but that night I went to sleep the night before I had to leave. It was an out-of-state bookstore. And I heard my mother. And she said, Michele, really loud like that. And I got awake and I sat up in bed and I heard a hoot owl. The name of the shop was Owl's Wisdom, OWLS, Owl. Owl's Wisdom was the name of the shop. And here was a hoot owl. And I heard her say, everything's going to be all right. Well, that is amazing that she got me awake right when the owl outside the window was going, ooh, ooh, whatever they do. And it was fine. My friend drove me there. But again, they can wake you up in the night by talking to you. So we have feeling going on and we have hearing going on. And it just doesn't begin and end with songs or music boxes or voices. Sometimes a friend or another relative can deliver you a message. And they don't even realize it, but the soul that wants to say hello is speaking through them and gives you an answer. So we as human beings, when we talk to each other, we may even drop a message or a line that somebody else needs. And we're being influenced from heaven. So that's clairaudience. And the other one is, which I absolutely love, electrical occurrences. I get so many emails. My lights flicker. My light bulbs blow out. I put light bulbs in. They're brand new. They blow out. My computer goes on and off. What's going on with that? The television set, the volume gets louder or it flips channels. So why is that? Because the soul, again, is electromagnetic energy, and the soul can go right through electrical wires and make things happen. So watch for electrical occurrences. Clocks can stop, digital clocks, and come back on. And I always say, if a clock stops, let's say it's 5:22, You can take it maybe to the month and the day. So awareness is key with all of this. So it might be the 5th month, May 22nd would be the day. So watch for numbers. Numbers are really important, and they really have to do with, when someone passes or when someone's born. It's really amazing. They love us, and they want us to know we're saying hello. And this is from the love-based heart that they still have, because the soul retains its own consciousness. It never goes away. The soul retains its own mind, its personality, as I've said on other shows, and even a memory bank. So the bond never is broken, and they want to say hello to us as much as we want to say, hello to them. So watch for electrical things happening. It's not your imagination. The only thing is, remember that one show, Tony, I couldn't get on. Verizon was down. Yes. Instagram was down. Facebook was down because Mercury was in retrograde.
Right.
Honestly, I think it was March 13th. Everybody was set up. Everything was ready, and everything crashed. But anyhow, that's life. The other thing I want to say is messengers, not just people, but in the form of insects and birds and animals. So the most popular insects that say hello are butterflies. Butterflies are the true symbol of the soul. The cocoon is the body, and the butterfly is the soul that flies free. So many, many times someone that's passed will influence a butterfly to fly your way. It might land on your hand, on your shoulder, or you'll just see them. They could be monarchs. In the East here, we have little tiny white butterflies that are real sweet, and they dance in the spring and summer. So that's a soul's way, someone up there saying hello. Dragonflies are also a strong symbol of an insect, dragonflies. The other one is a ladybug. So when a ladybug is saying hello, it's probably from a grandmother or mother. And you have to connect the dots. They're trying to say hello. So think about who like ladybugs, who like the color red, which is a ladybug. Who would send me one of those? And guess what? My husband forgot to turn off the phone. I'm telling you, Tony, it's always something. If I don't have a mic in my cleavage, if it's not Mercury in retrograde,
at least we got a blooper reel.
I'm sorry if the green screen's not up right.
At least we got a blooper reel. That's good.
Bear with me, everybody. This is live, and whatever. Oh, heaven forbid. We got our lights on. We're okay. All right. Birds. One of the most prominent birds that fly to us or that we acknowledge is a cardinal. The male cardinal's bright red, the female's sort of an olive green. So again, they mate for life, and they fly as team members together. They raise the young. They live to be 15 years old. A lot of people don't even know this. So they have great longevity, okay? So if you see a red cardinal, it's someone from heaven who's a male. If you see a female, it's a female from heaven. If you see a pair, grandma and grandpa are together. They're both flying down saying hello. They're not the birds, though. I do have to say that. They influence the flight of the bird. It's just like influencing wind or the chills or the breeze or whatever they do, they can influence. Bluebirds are popular. They also mate for life. Robins are harbingers of new beginnings and the springtime. So again, if your grandmother's name was Robin, hello, she's going to send you a robin. You'll see them all around you. And it is a matter of connecting dots. And I do have a little story. License plates are big. Billboards are also big. And I did a session a couple years ago on the phone, and I tell this at seminars, where a lady had a dad named Bob, and he passed. And her dad came through. But after we hung up, she told me a Bob story. She said her dad didn't like cats. And in his honor, because he had a good sense of humor, she went to the shelter and got a cat and named him Bob. And she said, honestly, that morning, she said, Dad, if you know I got you a cat in your honor, please send me a sign. And that was in the morning. And at lunchtime, she was out, stopped at a red light, and the license plate on the car in front of her said Bobcat. Now, that only took a couple hours. So the other thing you need to do seriously is be patient, because remember, their time is not our time. There's no time in the next realm. So time is man-made here. And I just want to say that. So please be patient with them until they can figure out how to say hello. There are different types of animals that come to us. My Chinese zodiac is the rabbit. So I see rabbits everywhere. And also rabbits represent certain things. They're gentle creatures. So you have to, again, look and say who would send me a bunny rabbit. Also, deer are popular from the spirit realms. We know that cats and dogs that we love, of course, can see spirits. Trust me, they're really tapped into the beyond. And even squirrels. You see a squirrel, Grandpa might be saying you better start saving your money, because squirrels plan for the winter months. And so again, there you go. So it's either insects, or it could be all of the above, birds or animals as messengers. And it's not physical either. It can be on greeting cards. It can be on a television program, again, a billboard. So it will be a recurring bird or animal or insect. That's kind of how it works. The next thing I want to say is they can actually move objects. So don't freak out now. They can move objects around because of the higher frequency. If you remember the movie Ghost, I don't know how many people out there have seen Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg and Demi Moore. He took a penny and he moved it up, and you could see his hand. It was like translucent, but he moved it up towards her. They can knock over pictures. They can throw pictures off the wall. They can tilt pictures. Sometimes this happens right, in plain view. And when we had built our home in the 90s, I had lost a friend. And honestly, my husband's face turned as white as a sheet. We were sitting in the family room, and the garage door that comes into the kitchen in the family room, the handle started to move. And my husband's eyes got really big, and he's looking. The door opened, and the light came on in the in the garage. And we just looked at each other, and it was one of the wildest things that's ever happened to me. So remember, their energy's strong, and I know it was my friend because I could feel it. That was an amazing occurrence that happened. To open a door like that takes a lot of energy. The other thing is, and I love this, and then we're going to move on, because I'm going to bring some people on Zoom for mini readings too, and take some phone calls. I had a first cousin. Her name was Arlene, and she passed at 85 when she was 85 years old, and that's seven years ago. She collected Swarovski crystal little objects, and she started to give them to me as gifts. So I have a curio, and I put all this Swarovski crystal in there. They were birds, there were animals, and then there were these little crystal vases with crystal flowers in. Some were tulips, and there was one that's really pretty. It's little pink roses. So it has like 4 glass shelves, and every single morning, the one with the pink roses would be moved to the back of the curio. And I didn't open it. And so I said to my husband, how in the world would one move and not the rest of them? We didn't have an earthquake. And he says, I have no idea. And I could not, for the life of me, figure out why this one was moving. So that morning, after I saw that it had moved again, I went up, and there was a program on television. We have a flat screen in the upstairs. And I was flipping channels, and the channel flipped to a news report. And it was a florist shop, and it had Arlene's flowers across there. And it dawned on me, oh my, gosh, we put a huge spray of pink roses over her casket. And I think it was her way of saying, number one, thank you. Number two, look at me. I can move things around, and I want you to know I'm with you. These are stories I've never shared. I go out of them, but that to me was unbelievable. Inside a curio, just that one little crystal thing Tony.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, sweetheart. Anything ever move around you over and above human beings and animals?
The only thing I had move around me when I was a kid walking up the stairs, we used to hear things walking and doors closing. But I remember walking up the stairs and a painting flew off the handle. It didn't just drop off the nail. It came forward off the wall, and I ran out the room or ran down the stairs and wouldn't go back up there for a while. So
I wonder if it was somebody that lived there or one of your relatives. That's awesome.
yeah,
I
it
mean,
was. I think it was the
would
old
be.
man that actually built the house.
Is that what you think?
Yeah, because he was a banker and that built the house. So years later, my nephew saw the spirit also. So
Wow.
mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing.
Of course.
So, they can move things around. That's crazy. Well, at least you know who it is, right?
Right.
So clairvoyance means clear seeing. And you can see them at the foot of your bed. I usually see them from the waist up, and thank heavens not all the time because I need my rest. You can see them in dreams. Dreams can be powerful. If you remember a dream more than 24 hours, it's a vision and not just a dream. There are many types of dreams. But anyhow, that was another show. You can see a shadow at your peripheral vision along the side of your face, or orbs. Some people actually see orbs while they're awake. Sometimes little round orbs will appear on photographs. If someone gets married, there might be an orb above them, to bless the union. Babies many times have orbs above them. They're usually human relatives that are saying hello or protecting them. So look at your pictures. Now, sometimes they're, air, and sometimes they're whatever, but a lot of times they're from the spirit realms. So as I said, dreams are amazing. And when you dream of a loved one, they're not down in your bedroom or wherever you're sleeping. Your soul has left your body and you're in the astral world and you're saying hello. The soul can go at night, and there's a cord from our abdomen to the solar plexus of the soul body, and we travel at night. So if you wake up between 3 and 5 and can't get back to sleep, your soul's been out and has re-entered. But anyhow, when you dream of them, they don't usually give you a long statement. They'll say, love you, chin up, because remember, souls work telepathically. And when I'm doing a reading, they work telepathically with me. The other thing is scent, which we call the olfactory occurrences. It could be fragrance, perfume. It could be floral, like lilacs. It could be smoke. My dad uses cherry pipe tobacco smoke, which is very aromatic, and I don't know who uses that anymore. But I always get whiffs of cherry pipe tobacco, especially when I'm stressed. He likes to send that to me. One of the hardest ways they say hello from heaven is through the sense of smell. Because think about it from their perspective. They have to think about the scent. They have to create it and condense it. And then they have to push it down towards you. So if you smell something that belongs to somebody, smoke, food smells, your grandmom's apple pie, it's them, but it takes a lot of work up there to do that. Finding change. The most numerous coins that are found are pennies and dimes. For some unknown reason, pennies and dimes. So pennies mean you're number one to the person manifesting them or sending them down, and dimes in numerology go back to number one. And I always say to people, please look at the year or the date because it will be invariably somebody's birth month, their crossing month, your children's graduation year. It really never fails. So coins are very prominent. So we covered some territory here, and there's other ways they communicate. But I want to, like I said, bring some people on via Zoom. Zoom is similar to Skype. And I've had people on, I think it was a couple years ago, on Zoom, and it worked out really well. So we're going to do that. To enhance communication, ask them. All you have to do is ask, and they'll come down and say hello. Be aware of all of these signs from heaven. the feeling, the seeing, the hearing, and so on. Be aware of it. Think of them. When you think of them, it does magnetize their energy down to you. Remember, they're in a higher, faster frequency. If you look at their pictures, it magnetizes their energy down to you. Many times when you're looking at their picture, they're over your shoulder looking with you. Also, keep a journal with dates. If you see flashing numbers again and again, write the date down. If you find a coin, write the date down. If you have a dream, write it down, because it'll be a pattern that emerges. The other thing is meditate and kind of visualize them in your mind, how they used to look, their mannerisms. That helps them to reach out and communicate. And please be patient. Like I said, their time is not our time, because there's no time on earth. It may take them 2 weeks to a month to say hello, or they can do it, as I said, within a couple hours, just depending on how strong their energy is. And please be thankful for them. It's the attitude of gratitude, and you'll be very blessed. So, Sir Tony Sweet.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, darling. What I want to do is try a Zoom mini reading.
Let's do it.
And if you have been on before, remember, have your audio turned on. Give us your name, and make sure everything that we can see you and we can hear you and everything like that. So we're going to bring on somebody that wants a mini reading, and let's see who's there. Let's see who's there, Tony.
All right, we have, guess what? Another Michele.
1 hour too. Ah!
2 L's.
Michele, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Oh, thank you so much. This is great. Bless you, sweetheart.
Thanks.
So I'm just going to get impressions, and let me tell you how real quickly it works. In case you don't know me, they're being prepped. Don't laugh. They're being prepped in heaven to circle around you. So one side's mother's side, one side's dad's side. In front is a child past. Behind you would be in-laws, friends, and or a spouse. And that's kind of how it works. So I look with my third eye. I'm not looking with my physical eyes. And what I'll be doing is glancing around you, Michele. So there's someone coming in the back of you, sweetheart, and it's a male figure. This male figure wants to project a little older before he passed. So he takes on the role of dad figure. He's a little more back and to the right. So that says to me either father or father-in-law. So who's passed? Either one of them. Who would be passed?
My father-in-law.
He really loves you, honey. He takes the role of father here. He says, Michele, you're my girl. And you stood by his son. And he knows that for a long time. His son was the love of your life. This is what he tells me, your father-in-law. I do have to say he was ready to go home. I feel he's making me feel a little bit tired. They do give me feelings. And he was ready to go home, darling. But he does send love back to children and to he has somebody with him, but he's also sitting back down love to another male. So if you don't have a son, would there be a brother, or did your husband have a brother? Can you tell me?
Yeah, my husband had a brother.
Okay. Okay. He's acknowledging him. He watches out for him. He says, Michele, he's a real trip, isn't he? Talking about your husband's brother. They were very different in personality from each other, sweetheart. Your father-in-law is telling me. And he stands up real straight, darling. Their posture changes sometimes. He wants to be your hero. And he wants to take care of you. Now, he's going to open the door. And it's the soul's behind you, darling. So I'm going to have to say it's probably a husband then, because he's younger than the father-in-law, and he wants to project healthy, and he wants to project happy, and he has a big grin on his face. He says, hey there, like that, kind of casual. He projects in jeans, and his dad has his arm around him. So I don't know, and I'm sorry for your loss, because I'm telling you, along with children, a spouse is tough. You know, it really is, Michele. My heart goes out to you, sweetheart. It really does. I couldn't get along without mine. But anyhow, I'm smelling smoke, and they get, all my senses are heightened when I do this. Did somebody have a fire? Is somebody connected in that way? I don't know.
Mark was a firefighter.
Was he?
Yeah.
So he's letting me smell then. Instead of saying that, he's letting me smell what he did, I guess, you know, for a living. Oh my God. Everybody thought well of him, honey. He had a lot of friends, your husband. And I feel he went out pretty quick. When they do this to me, it's a symbol for like I was kind of here and then I went, you know. Do you know how he passed? Because he went out pretty quick.
They haven't given me a definite. They just said possible complications from pneumonia.
Yeah.
But it was less than 24 hours.
Oh, honey, I am so sorry. I feel my heart stopping. I just feel like fluid. I was getting some pressure here, and that can mean heart stopping or respiratory complications. So I think he started with the respiratory, and then there was fluid or pressure there, and his heart just stopped. I don't think you're going to find a lot of complications, and that's quick. And he tells me that his timeline was up, but he'll never leave you. And in fact, he says, I like the red birds. He likes the red birds. So have you seen, what do you call them? I can't even think. Cardinals. Do you ever see cardinals, honey?
Our next door neighbor has a bird feeder, and over the winter, there were probably 10 to 15 red cardinals there.
He's influencing them. Remember I said the olive ones, colored ones are the females. But he wants you to know, this is interesting. He may have had red on his helmet, or there may have been is there a red connection with his fire suit or something?
Yes.
Okay, that's because the Cardinals have the red crest. And so there you go with connecting things, sweetheart. He's going to be with you at the holidays. He's mentioning Mother's Day. I don't know if you're Mother's, but he's mentioning Mother's Day. He's mentioning May. So Mother's Day is in May, unless May's someone's, birth month or crossing month, Michele.
He just passed May 22nd of last year.
So it's not even a year, sweetheart.
No. And my father-in-law passed 6 months before him.
Oh, God. I think you wonder, are they together? Because he tells me. My wife wonders if we're together. He stands next to your bed at night. And I think you might have held something of his, or maybe you still do, like a shirt or something that belonged. What's that, darling? I can't see.
It's his ashes in a necklace.
Mm-hmm. It keeps him close to you. Now, again, they're only the remains, but I do have to say he's close to your heart. That makes him feel good. And wedding bands are being linked. Do you have his ring or don't you have his ring, hon?
Yes, I have his rings.
Because he wants you to keep them. He's mentioning a nephew. I don't know if you have a prominent nephew.
Yeah.
Because he says, I love my nieces and nephews. He says, but there's one nephew. So, if you have something of his, I don't know, a watch or something, and you don't have children, or do you, honey?
No.
So if you don't, he's acknowledging for you to possibly give the nephew something in later years as he gets older. If you'd want to do that, like his watch or something.
We already have.
Have you? What did you give, darling?
Logan got a couple of Mark's hats, and he also got some of his jewelry that
Perfect.
he had with him.
Perfect. Because that he influenced that. Did you know that? He influenced that. I really like his energy. I do. And he's kind of a jokester. So he might be playing tricks on you. Like I was saying, things might be moving around, he has a bag of coins, honey. I don't know if he collected dimes or pennies, but he wants to throw some of those down at you.
I've been finding dimes ever since he's passed, and I put them all into a bank.
Good.
So I have every one that I found of dimes.
Do
the
you?
first one I found was his birth year, which was 2 weeks after he passed.
His birth year. Wow. That's amazing. So what they don't like to say die, they like to say they were rebirthed, honey, into heaven, because we don't die. The soul never dies. So when people say they died, they didn't die. They were rebirthed into the next home or original home. Okay. I don't know if you ever wanted children, but somebody lost a child, sweetheart. I don't know if that was you or someone that you in family. But there's a
part of our family 2 years ago today.
Was what?
She was hit by a hit and run car accident.
I'm so sorry, honey, but she's here. How does she relate to you?
She is my goddaughter's cousin. They're family to us.
Okay. Well, your husband's opened the door for her to say hello to you, honey. She couldn't let this go by. I know this is a mini, but she couldn't let this go by without saying to tell her relatives, that she was really close to, that she's in heaven. And there's angel connections with her, Michele. I don't know if she had an angel. What's the angel thing with her, darling?
She was the light of everybody's eyes. She was only 17 when she passed. And she just had that angel aura about her.
Yeah, because she has a bright light around her and she looks lovely. She has a beautiful smile. There was a sweetness about that girl, and she looks like a little earth angel. See? People might have said you're just like a little earth angel. Boy, is that family torn apart. So if they are open to this, because some people aren't even open to this, really. If they're open to it, just would you please tell them that she's saying hello from heaven. She's with your husband. And she's with some of her relatives. She's with some of her relatives. Some of them that passed way before her. Could be grandparents or great-grandparents she's with. So I have to ask you, Precious, you really worked with me. And I think you did really well, Michele, because you're on the ball, kid. You would not believe how many people with their jaws on their lap and they can't think of anything. It goes right over their heads. And the month of August is being shouted out by somebody.
That's my birthday.
Happy birthday, honey. Your husband likes your hair. He's going to be at your birthday party. He doesn't want you to go into your shell like a turtle because he likes nature. He wants you to come out and shine and be the best you can be. And he loves that hair color, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if he influenced it. When did you get the red going on?
Just Monday.
That's your hubby. Oh, there's the red again. Red Cardinals, red helmet, red hair. He likes red, darling.
Yeah.
So I got to move on because I want to take some phone calls. I have to say you're a beautiful person inside and out, and it was my pleasure to work with you. Thank you for coming on, Precious. God bless you and have a happy spring. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, honey. Okay. Well, Tony.
Should we take a quick commercial break real fast? Or
yeah, let's take a boy, does my heart go out to her.
Oh, that was a great.
What are the chances of another Michele coming on? This is how things go.
And such a right, like you said, you guys worked really well together, so that's great.
Yeah, some people are more open. I need to tell you this. And they're with it because, they've done a lot of reading and research on the subject. They're looking for comfort. They're looking for hope. It's not a prove it to me cynical kind of thing.
Right.
So when they're open like that, it absolutely just flows. And I have to be honest, some people, it just flows with. Other people, it's like pulling teeth.
Right.
Because they're waiting for you to tell them, and they're not working with you.
Right.
And I do have to say, every medium works differently, but this is an energetic exchange. I'm just the conduit. So she did a pretty darn good job. So let's take a little commercial. We'll see you on the other side.
We'll be right back with Michele Livingston.
Do angels exist? Do they accompany us on our journeys through life? Do departed loved ones continue to watch over and at times communicate with us?
Miraculous Encounters is over 100 true stories of people's experiences with angels and the other side. There are 10 different ways that the spirit realms communicate.
Miraculous Encounters, true stories of experiences with angels and departed loved ones. Available at michellelivingston.com and wherever books are sold.
All right, we are
Do
back
angels
with
exist?
Michele Livingston. Hi, Michele. We're back.
Okay, my husband is interrupting. Hold on a second.
Okay.
What do you want? I can't live without you, but what do you want? Yeah, we just did the commercial. Tony, wait till you've been married almost 30 years. Anyhow.
We're down to one. We got one down. So.
Yeah, that's right. When is your anniversary now? I'm forgetting.
February 23rd.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Okay, the book that's up there is Miraculous Encounters, and it's over 100 true stories of people's experiences and everything that we've talked about, all the different signs from heaven. And I'm so glad that Michele, the guest that we had on Zoom that came on, is able to identify her husband's messages, and that's really important. She may not have thought of the color red, but she'll start to see red in different places, and again, connecting dots. So anything on my Facebook page, does anybody have a sign that they want to share? Well, do you have a story that you want to share?
Before we take actual calls, there are a couple things in the chat room, and I found this one interesting because normally we talk about grandfathers, fathers, husbands, but there's Jessie said she lost 2 babies, and she said, I wish I knew if they were trying to contact me. Babies, are they the same as adults? Because, in case what if they weren't talking at the time? You don't hear the voices, or how do you tell if babies contact you?
Okay, that's a good question. Let me just explain about babies just real quickly, because we have free choice and free will. So if we terminate a pregnancy, it's our free choice. When we have a stillborn, the soul doesn't enter until we take, as human beings, our first breath. The soul chooses parents to learn and grow with, and we hover around the mother at the point of conception. But for any reason, if we change our mind, for example, if the timing's not right, if we're not quite sure of the father, I don't know, we retract from the newborn's body. That's called a stillborn. And a miscarriage is when we do not come to the point of full development, but we change our minds. So it depends how far along she was. If she's talking about a baby that's a year old or a few months old, I'm not quite sure, but I was trying to give a background on, miscarriages, termination, because there's guilt sometimes attached with all of these things. You could hear giggling. A baby would you'd hear giggling. You could smell baby powder, just depending on how long they lived. If she could answer and say if it was a sudden infant death, like a crib death, but I would say baby signs, like hearing a rattle, hearing a giggle. And when I get on my fan page, I'll clarify that. Is there a name there, Tony?
Jessie.
Oh, that's right. Jessie, if you're watching Honey on my fan page, I'll get back to you, because after the show, I answer everybody. Good question. Remember, these babies are old souls, okay? But when they pass at a very young age, their soul has not been in their physical body very long, and that's why there's heavenly nurseries. They're caretakers that get them there and tell them that they're actually old souls until they remember, because we forget when we're born where we came from and everything. But it could run the gamut. It could, depending on how old the child was. So I'll get back to you, Jessie. Thank you, honey.
And okay, one more, and then we'll go to the phone. Take a couple. Is there a difference between signs from your loved ones and signs from angels? What's the difference?
Okay. Well, let's take, for example, photographs. On photographs, like I mentioned, orbs. But if an orb is light yellow, a pinkish color, a bluish color, it's an angel. If an orb is just white, believe it or not, it's a human soul. And on photographs, and I'm going to show them sometime because I have some wild ones, spirits manifest with smoke or mist on photographs. So an angel might communicate with an androgynous voice, or many times Blessed Mother, when she's around me, I'll smell roses or lilies. That's her connection in. So remember, angels have never been human. Angels are light beings from a very high frequency, the 11th dimension. We're in the 3rd dimension. That's another show. Our loved ones are in the heavenly realms of the 4th dimension. There are 12 dimensions. Just think of a core of an onion and all the layers coming out. So the Godhead is like the 12th dimension and created the angels, and it comes down to us, and they're here to assist us. And we're all assigned a guardian angel at birth that goes with us on our journey. And then, of course, archangels we can call upon for help. They usually connect in also with colors as well. Raphael, the divine healer, is emerald green and purple. Gabriel, the divine messenger, many times comes, in golden light. And Archangel Michael, who I'm very fond of, is royal blue. He's the divine protector. So they can also come through with different shades of color and different gemstones, whether it's amethyst, lapis, whatever. So that's another show, but it is still a good question, Tony. I like that one.
I do too, and it explains a lot. So, okay, you ready to take a few calls?
Yes.
All right, so let's take this one because they've been waiting a long time. So let's go ahead. It's 732. You're live on the air with Michele Livingston.
Hello.
Who's this and where are you calling from?
Joni.
Where are you calling from, Joni? All right, would you turn your volume down? You're echoing.
Got a little echo going.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's because I had another phone on me. So 1 second, I'm sorry.
Do you want to take another one, Tony, quickly?
We may have to. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Let's go on.
Yeah.
People are waiting.
All right, so that's a 951. You're on the air with Michele Livingston.
Hi, hello.
Hi, darling. Who is this?
Hi. Oh my goodness. Hi, Michele. My name is Nadine.
Hi, Nadine. Where are you calling from?
I am calling from Rialto, California.
Oh, beautiful. Do you have a question for me, Nadine?
I do. So I have a cousin, a second cousin. Unfortunately, he took his life about 3 years ago. It broke my heart when I found out the news because we weren't close enough. So I felt bad, and I listen to your podcast religiously every day at work, and I just want to say I love you. And I know he's doing well, but I guess I just want to make sure. I don't know if you have any messages from him. I've been thinking about him a lot.
Yes, Nadine. Yes, Nadine, I do have an answer for you. I want to say to all those out there that have had friends or relatives take their life, there's no condemnation with suicide, that it's a choice. But I want to say your cousin got himself down a little bit and got himself depressed, Nadine. This was devastating for your family and his family because he's a cousin. But I do see him, and it's he has a haircut to come to talk to you, Nadine. So I don't know.
I'm so sorry.
I don't know if he wore his hair longer at one point in his life, but he's laughing about his. Did he wear it longer?
Yes, he was more of he was very into music. He was very artistic, so he had that LA urban look going on.
Yeah. Well, he wants to kind of look like that, but yet he wants to be fairly neat for you. I get a kick out of this. He calls you a friend as well as a cousin, and he wants his family to know he was not in pain when he took his life. He wasn't in pain, Nadine.
Okay.
So
okay.
you need to send this back to them. He had a very good heart. This is a sensitive person.
Yeah.
And he's made it to the light. Angels and heavenly volunteers came down and got him up to the light. And he's going to go through a form of rehab. There are rehab stations in heaven. So
beautiful.
Know that he's fine. So I want to say from California, from Pennsylvania to California, Nadine, you're beautiful. Thanks for calling in, sweetheart. Keep watching my podcasts, Nadine.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, we have another one that I think this would be a good one. It's 724, and I think it's Diane, but let's try it. 724, you're on the air with Michelle. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Perfect. Who are you, darling?
Hi, good.
What is your name?
Diane.
And where are you calling from?
Pittsburgh. It's in Pittsburgh. It's called Leechburg.
That's fine. I'm curious. What's your question, Diane?
Okay, I moved into a new house, and my front door knocked. I answered it, and nobody was there. And then all of a sudden, the back door knocked, and nobody was there. And then we shut the door, and then me and my youngest daughter, we were in the kitchen, and then we heard a woman's voice say, hello, because I guess when I was opening the doors and everything, I was like saying hello. I thought somebody was outside. But, do you anything about like who it was or what it meant?
Okay, Diane, that's a really good question. You said a lady's voice, which makes that a human soul. It's a female human soul. If you did not recognize the voice, it's probably not a relative. Someone may have lived there before you moved in with your daughter and is opening the doors to see who is inhabiting the home. So did you recognize the female voice?
No, my daughter and I were trying to like think about that because it just so shocked us, and but I kept asking her but I don't think it sounds like anybody, No,
I need to say this, Diane. It was someone that lived in the home before you did, and is checking in on what's going on there. Sometimes they like to do that. They like to see what the heck's going on in the house.
Right? Yeah. Do you have any other messages for me, while I'm on the air, or
well,
since I'm talking
I don't
to you?
really, darling, because I have one more minute, Diane. But would you call back again?
Yes, I will, Michelle. Thank you, and I appreciate it.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Tony, do we have time for one more quick one?
We sure do. Let's go ahead and take another one. Let's go. This one's a 618. So let's go ahead and 618. You're on the air. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Michelle. It's Kathleen. I'm your Facebook buddy. I'm always on there. And I'm calling you from Mulberry, Florida.
From where, darling?
Mulberry, Florida, near Tampa.
Florida. I'm glad you got through, Kathleen. What's your question?
I was so scared you were going to answer when the delivery guy came. I had ordered food, and he just left.
Well, now you can eat to your heart's content, my darling. And you don't have to worry about anything. Kathleen, what's your question?
Well, I have 3 people that I'm hoping are trying to send me a message.
Hold on. Is your mother passed?
No.
Okay, there's a lady on the left, and it's a maternal grandmother then, okay? I just need to say this.
Yeah.
You don't have to know them. They see and know you. Tell your mother to keep up with physicals, Kathleen. Would you please tell your mother, if you're on speaking terms, to keep up with physicals? Would you please? Your mother.
We are not on speaking terms.
I thought so. I thought so.
We are.
That's all right. It's okay.
Yeah.
Pray for her. We're in a delay, Kathleen. Pray for your mother if you're not in speaking terms. Because I had a feeling that your grandmother had a message to push you towards your mother. And therefore, don't worry about it, but pray for her. I'm not kidding you. There's a lot of power in prayer, darling. Pray for her health. There's some respiratory thing that's going to happen. Some respiratory thing. Is Dad on Earth?
No, he's not.
He's through. I don't know if they ever called you Kath. I don't know if they ever called you Kath or Kathy. He doesn't want to call you Kathleen, though. Daddy
they
says,
don't call
hey,
me Kathleen. They call me Kathy.
I know. He says, hi, Kath. Hi, Kathy. It's your dad. He's a character. And this is wait till you hear this, sweetheart. I want you to listen to me. He'll be with you when you eat your dinner tonight, because Dad liked to eat.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He gets a kick out of you saying that you were waiting for the delivery service. Your dad has a big sandwich. He's holding up, Kathleen, a big fat sandwich. And he tells me you can't eat in heaven, so enjoy yourself, because he liked to eat. Now, one other thing, sweetheart, balloons are going back and forth. Who just celebrated something, or what's coming up, hon?
How about Michael? Is he there?
I want you to listen to me. Balloons are going back and forth. Who just celebrated, or what's coming up around the corner? Real quickly.
A wedding.
Okay.
My daughter's getting married.
That's right. Your dad's going to walk her down the aisle. Thank you.
Oh, cool. Oh, good. That's very good news.
He loves her.
Aww.
And for Michael, you're going to have... I'm sorry, darling.
What?
For Michael, you're going to have to call back because I'm already over time, my darling. All right?
Okay. Well, it was nice to hear from my dad. Thank you so much, Michelle. I've tried so hard to get a hold of you.
Yay!
Thank you.
I'm glad you got through, sweetie. Take care.
Me too. Thanks so much. My dad and I are going to eat. Okay, bye-bye.
Oh, that's funny.
That's hysterical. I'm telling you, if you could see them, he's rubbing his belly. He's holding up a big, like, hoagie thing. He's going to sit there and watch her eat her dinner.
That's
so
right. That's right. He may have a nibble
I hope
too.
I hope she's not self-conscious.
Right. He count the chews.
Well, I guess it's time to say sayonara tonight.
And one thing, if people want to do a Zoom with you, contact Michelle and John either through the Facebook page or the website, email, and then they can, set some of that up with you guys. But we'd love to have you and see you, and thank you guys for participating.
Thank you. And it's nice to have real time because I tend to talk very quickly. And you saw with the Zoom, caller, we could relate. And so when you're on a delay on the radio, it's a little difficult because I'm already ahead of them. But anyhow, Sir Tony Sweet, I love you. Thank you so much for helping me with these shows.
Oh, of course.
And I'll be back. I think it's 2 weeks from now. Is that May 10th?
I think so.
I should come prepared, shouldn't I?
May 8th.
May 8th. God bless everybody. Happy spring, wherever you are. See you on May 8th. And always be kind.
And happy Cinco de Mayo.
Oh,
and
that's
Mayday.
true. Oh, yay. Cinco de Mayo. I'm getting my kidney beans out.
There you go.
And my tequila.
Oh, tequila, yes.
Tequila. See ya.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
If you enjoy The Michele Livingston Show and want to see her in person, check out her next live seminar.
So here we go. If you can work with me, close your eyes. We're going to take 8 deep breaths, and we're going to start.
Have you recently lost a loved one?
Who lost a husband recently? I had to take a deep breath with him. I feel it was fairly quick.
Could you be the next one to get a reading?
I think I'm with you, sweetie. There's a name like Bree. They're showing me cheese. That's the new one. They showed me Bree cheese and her daughter's name Bree. See how this works?
This seminar will provide an experience that will truly enhance your understanding of the other dimensions.
When we get over there, we train to help 1 or 2 people that are on the earth plane, and we train to be their guides or their helpers.
And confirm that you
There's a dad figure coming through here.
are never alone.
Did you enjoy it?